Welcome to the Berks Homes podcast, the business of building homes. I'm Katie. I'm here with my brother Ben, and today we are talking about the EOS meeting cadence. This topic is inspired by our State of the Company meeting coming up this month, and it's always an exciting time. We get to see everybody in person, so we thought we would just talk about what gets us to this point every year, which is meetings upon meetings upon meetings.
This is a fun one, though. What do you think is the most critical aspect of the annual company meeting as it relates now to EOS? Because we've had a company meeting for I don't know how many years, but
in-person company meeting.
How many years? I mean, it's been a long time.
Yeah.
Right? But it means something different now with following EOS. So how do you think it's different, and why is it so critical?
I don't know about being able to define how critical it is,
well,
but I can...
It's a thing in the book, you know.
Right.
I'm just trying to be team player here.
Right.
I'm just
Good
there
job.
for the food.
You're kicking it off. Okay. I think the significance of having it now, having a place where we can be accountable to the things that we say we're going to do.
Yeah.
So the point of it is being able to be in person, having a conversation, and showing that we're actually sticking to our commitments and executing on them. Really.
Right.
That's really what it comes down to me anyway. I don't know.
Yeah, looking back, how did we do? It's looking back over the last, well, we have our meeting in April, but really we're looking at our results from the last fiscal year.
Right.
Ending on December 31st. So, you know, it's a little bit delayed, but it's looking back and saying, this is what we set out to do. This is what we did. And then there's a portion of every quarterly meeting and annual meeting where you're saying, this is where we're going.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's really great to be able to be in person when we show in real time on the screen our success. That's really the best part. And maybe if we didn't hit some things, we have a forum then to be able to discuss it with everyone in real time. So sometimes it's difficult to, shoot out an email, look at a dashboard, and not be able to see the people that might have a big stake in the game here and really make sure that your message is landing. That's always a crucial piece to it to see. There's the crucial part.
Yeah.
Critical,
crucial, all the same. I always like seeing people that are in similar jobs, hanging out, but they're, across the state.
From different regions.
Yeah. And I think that's why it is really important for our business specifically to get together in person that one time a year, because for a lot of us, we just don't see each other.
That's exactly right.
You see each other on a screen, but even though we're not huge, we have less than 200 employees, but being, 3 separate offices spread out, and then we have field staff, they're always out of the office as well. Yeah. It's very rare to even get half the people in the same place, let alone all of them.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think it just feels really good for everybody to just sit and talk and have some food and, basically build those relationships that you build through email and phone and Teams and all that stuff. And I think people look forward to kind of understanding where they might fit in the bigger picture.
Yeah, that's the beauty of these meetings too. It's the connection to say, okay, how can I impact whatever we're talking about? How did I contribute? Am I contributing right now? And how can I, in the future? So that's definitely a big piece of it, is the company rocks when we announce those and all of our goals, so that everyone is on the same page and understands, like, oh, okay, company rock means that this is the one thing that we are all getting behind and doing for the next 90 days.
And a lot of people have their individual rocks built around that.
Yeah. So I guess we should back up to kind of the meeting cadence. In general.
Yeah. So like the weekly.
Yeah. So we
monthly.
touched on this in our EOS overview, but weekly L10 meeting is kind of the backbone of what keeps the whole thing operating as an operating system.
Yeah.
And it touches on a lot of all of the key points that EOS covers, because you're starting with people, the connection, the segue question. You're starting with that. You're kind of like getting your mind wrapped around the people that are in the room and the energy of the meeting. So typically an L10 is done with just your department. So it's a manager and their direct reports in a meeting together, and they meet weekly and have the exact same agenda every single week, and every department in the entire company has the same agenda.
Right.
So you're
same format.
Yes, exactly. For the agenda.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, you're starting with a segue question. So you're going kind of transferring your energy from what was going on before into the room. Okay, This is the people I'm connecting with. This is what we're talking about. All right, I am here.
Focusing.
Yes, it helps transition your mind. Segue. I mean, it's pretty answers the question right there.
It relaxes you, gets you into a creative mood, because usually the questions are totally not business related and just kind of fun, almost like an icebreaker.
Yeah. So EOS just asks, one personal or professional best. And we have, gotten creative with it and ask questions, about, do you have a question and answer that sticks out in your mind from any of our meetings?
No.
Not at all.
Well, last week's I kind of remember. What was something scary outside? Basically, what was an outdoor activity that was scary? I mean, there was a lot of funny ones, like favorite actors in what movies, and just, you kind of have to think a little bit. And the irony of it being like personal past experiences is when you and I are in the EO meeting, a lot of times it's like
the answer overlaps.
Yeah, we kind of have to look at each other like, I remember this one time, and it's like we could be very redundant.
Yeah, you're not going to take this one.
Yeah,
no, I'm gonna.
Yeah. What about you?
There's so many that I just think, like last year, there's a one question in particular that we were talking about, things that you hate that other people love.
Oh yeah, I had a long list.
Right, exactly. And Deb's answer is folding clothes.
Yeah.
She loves it,
That got a laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she bought everyone in EO a folding thing.
Right. I remember that. Yes.
Yeah. Just used it.
Oh, you did?
I use it.
Oh,
yes.
Wow.
I love it.
Yeah. I have not.
So that's the segue question. Yeah. And then we immediately jump into scorecard mode. So that is
the nuts and bolts.
The metrics tracking. Are we on or off track with meeting our goals that week? Again, these are the leading indicators. So it gives you the opportunity to jump on and take action if needed.
Right.
And then the next piece is rock review, right?
Yep. On track, off track.
And that's it. And anything that you need to talk about immediately just gets dropped into IDS. No discussion.
Correct.
And then you can give your updates.
Weekly update.
Next.
Yeah.
Customer employee feedback section. And then jumping into IDS. So the reason I'm going over the agenda again is to really just highlight the fact that L10 covers literally everything that you need to go over that week to keep the momentum going in the department. The end goes over any cascading messages up or down, which is huge when you're thinking about the feedback loop and communication between departments.
Yeah.
Because that's where you can message outside of that room to other departments. So it can go both ways to the departments that are within your own. Say you're, the director or the vice president, and you've got your directors that can take it to their teams or something like that. Or vice versa, it can go back up to the EO meeting if there's something that just really needs to be an issue that needs to be addressed immediately. And it just keeps things flowing really seamlessly if used properly.
Well, and I think the EOS model of having the consistency allows you to be a little more relaxed in your communication patterns, because if you're just following the system, it does it for you. You still have to think through it, but you're never getting beyond a week without addressing the things that were discussed and if it needs to go somewhere.
Right. So is that what you mean by relaxed? Like you don't have to stress out about it?
Yeah, you don't have to think in a normal cadence because once a week, and you and I both have one meeting up, one meeting down, so we have our L10 at EO, and then we have it with our VPs, directors, whatever. And so I can't get beyond a week without addressing a communication that I need to address. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to think through it or it will be brought up. And so when I say relax, I mean, you just know there's a built-in cadence to making sure things are flowing throughout the organization.
Yeah.
And, there's still pitfalls, obviously, when you have a large team, or, if you're not, identifying the people outside of your team that are really important in your daily process. So you still have to think through things, but it's at least a safety net to constantly be double checking yourself and say, hey, do I need to bring this up?
Yeah. Well, and to speak to the pitfalls a little bit too, is if you are the messenger in the communication chain, sometimes you have to make sure that you understand how urgent something is or isn't. Like, do you need me to raise my hand in the meeting and say, I have to get this IDS today, it's priority?
Yeah.
Or can it get on the list of issues? Like, that is something that I had to play around with for a little bit, because I would just kind of casually say some things that my team needed answers to.
Yeah.
Or
it's an art.
It is. So it is just kind of making sure that you're assessing the fire. Like how big is this?
Yeah. Right.
Is it just smoke? Is it like where
and
we
that's
at?
that's a leadership development type thing too. Obviously, for us, listening to our teams and understanding that we need to set the expectations of our discussions with them, and prioritizing saying, there's always daily stuff that you need to work through. Even if it's a small detail, it's worthy of this time in our meeting. However, when you're truly working on that IDS system and methodically going through everything, giving enough time for discussion, then it allows you to prioritize and say, this can't wait until next week. And I am going to communicate this at EO so we can have everybody involved and they understand the stakes of it. Yeah. But again, it's like following the system allows you to prioritize, but you do have to set expectations with your team.
Yeah. Something else that I think is really interesting, as we've been doing this for a while now, is to realize that the IDS portion is usually very specific to just the people in the room. So if you're bringing something from another meeting, it typically ends up being just a communication.
Yeah.
And a solve usually happens with a workshop meeting outside of that. So if you're bringing if you can't solve something in your IDS because it involves other people,
it's just a meeting.
9 times out of 10, it's just a separate meeting. And that's the beauty of the L10, is it's just you're identifying. The solve might be a meeting. Sometimes you don't need the discussion. Sometimes the discussion is, this is a meeting with 3 other people that aren't here.
And I think we've gotten a lot of great meetings because of EOS.
Oh yeah.
Right? The
like
stuff
that like just set up a meeting and knock it out.
Right.
Yeah.
I can't imagine a scenario at our size and trying to, and our business model, with being regionalized and stuff. I can't imagine not having some sort of consistent meeting cadence like this with a structure because of all the good meetings that come out of it. You know, these are not workshop meetings. The L10s are not, they're not, you know, diving deep into specific subjects.
Right.
It's trying to hit the most present discussions that we can have, the most time sensitive things, and basically either getting to a solve or getting a meeting.
Right.
And that is a solve.
Yep. Or a to do.
Right. Right. Or to do.
It could just be, you know, this person just
like,
has to do this thing.
You got to go find out.
Yeah.
You know, do something. But those meetings, tying back to our company meeting, those meetings produce this cadence on every 90 days. The weekly meetings are all, it's like 13 weeks in between, all building up to a quarterly meeting or one time a year, an annual meeting like we're having later this month.
Yeah.
And so it kind of is a celebration of the accomplishments and then a look to the future, and also just talking about changes in general.
Yeah.
You know, subtle things, you know, new people, all that stuff. And we have a lot of fun too.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the quarterly meetings are great because it keeps you focused on the 90-day cadence so that you're like able to actually finish a project.
Yeah.
That's how it is for me anyway. I'm sure everybody interprets this differently, but a rock for me is pretty much the best way I have ever found to actually complete projects.
Sure.
Because I have to talk about it in front of people every single week and say if I'm doing it or not.
Correct.
That public shaming is enough for me to just, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get it done.
And, you know, rarely does it line up perfectly, right? Like not every goal you set is 13 weeks.
No.
Right? You just don't want to set a rock that should be 20 weeks into 13.
Well, that's practicing though too, figuring out what a good rock is.
Right.
You know.
Right.
But
yeah. And the more you're involved in EOS, the more you realize what kind of weekly time commitment you can give
to your project.
your rock, which is, it's like 20% is what they recommend.
Yeah.
So basically 1 day a week, you should be working on your rock.
Or rocks.
Yeah, rocks.
Yeah.
And, you know, sometimes it gets hard, but there's still like that gravitational pull to the end date.
Yeah. Yeah.
That you can, if you're planning, you can chop it up into 3 parts or something like that.
Yeah.
know?
And then, so once you hit that quarterly meeting, getting the, you know, information on how did everybody do. You know, we had this company rock. How did we all do? This is how many people or how many rocks we had. This means we got this much accomplished this quarter, all good things. And it also just gives us a snapshot in time of how well the business is doing. And so it's not exciting per se, those quarterly meetings, because it's really just a quick and dirty.
It's like 20 minutes.
This is how we're doing.
Yeah.
You know, so that is kind of what makes the annual meeting when everybody gets together so much better too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it kind of gives some life to the information in a different way. Let's see. This is the third one that we're having while we're on EOS, or second, I guess, official.
I don't know. Yeah.
See, time is relative.
Yes, second or third.
Whatever. But what's different about this meeting is that I think I mentioned this the last time, outgrew the other venue.
Yeah, it's a new venue.
So we're in a new place, and you're gonna get more information about this, but it's really cool. It's got a bunch of activities there that people can kind of like hang out there if they want afterwards.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah. So Chastity, our director of experience, she's running the show when it comes to the company meeting, has some really cool information to send out to everybody about it. So she's hyped about this place.
Do you have any teasers about the format or anything exciting that you wanted to share now?
Well, I don't know if it's exciting, but we do we do a survey after every event that we have.
Right.
hosted by Berks Homes because we want to always be doing better,
Mm-hmm.
and we want it to be, a worthwhile effort. If we're going to be putting all of this time investment in it, it's got to be good, right?
Yeah.
So the last the feedback we kind of compile, and now we're getting some patterns for the company meeting, and we have fan favorites are the GMs when speaking.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
3
So
GMs.
they will be back with their presentation, and we also are going to be sending out an agenda this time, so everyone knows what's going on.
Interesting.
Because that was a lot of feedback. People wanted to know, like we had times to be there and everything, but
like something more specific.
Yeah. Well,
you were the MC.
Yes.
And so you were constantly kind of updating everybody on what's next. This is what we're going to do next.
Mm-hmm.
And
I don't even have to do anything now.
that's probably a really good idea. It's like, hey, it's just this is what we're working towards.
Yeah. Well, what's great is by sending out a survey, all the smart people tell you how to make it better.
They're like, you should have an agenda.
Like,
and you're like, oh, yeah.
No kidding.
I mean, had it on my list.
Right. So I'm just hyped to have everyone all in one place. Both of us will be meeting people that we've never met.
Absolutely.
As happens every year.
Yes. I love that.
Mm-hmm. So
Brandon will be taking headshots.
Though that's part of the agenda. It's going to be in there.
Yes.
Got to get your headshots.
I hope it's a nice day again. That was really good.
Yeah.
Last year. What's your favorite part about it?
I honestly, I think it's seeing people that I have not seen, and it reminds me to connect with either them or, oh yeah, that's right, I used to do this thing that would make me run into them. I should do a community tour again, or like it just makes me think of things in our business a little bit differently, just seeing a face sometimes.
Right. Oh yeah.
So just kind of the inspiration I get coming out of that meeting is probably my favorite part.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Just
what
seeing
about
people.
You?
Yeah, I mean it's the same thing. It's seeing people that you might only see once a year or twice a year at the most. And you always have people that you just connect with on a personal level.
Yeah.
That might be in state college or somewhere you just don't see them, and you can just pick right back up and have those conversations. And just I think the best part is, again, having that camaraderie of the people that are in the same positions in different regions.
Yeah.
Get to hang out and talk shop and
don't miss out on that opportunity if you have a chance. Yeah.
And I always like to see the people that sit together, just like it's just a random curiosity that I have.
Yeah.
Where you're like, oh, I didn't know they knew them.
Right.
People from different regions. And they're just sitting there hanging out,
And so we have played around with having assigned seating versus not. So we've done all of the above.
Yeah.
And there's always, it's about 50-50 feedback of if people want it or not.
It's a lot of work either way.
Yes, it is.
Well, it's a lot of work to assign seating, I'm sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you always feel like you're leaving somebody out or something, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're just
letting it go. Nice. And this is this the last one was at like a barn. What's this one like?
I don't know.
Oh, see? That's great.
Isn't it?
That's called delegation. Yeah.
I'm getting there.
Yeah. Nice. What's the next level of a company meeting for you? And my point is, like, aspirationally, what if you're going to conduct the best annual company meeting, what does that look like in terms of the end result? What's it successful?
I think, well, we've talked about this before, and I don't know if we fully executed it, but we do have fully remote employees in other states. I would love to make sure that we have that them come into the meeting no matter what.
Right.
So do we have a week-long in-person thing with them? This is your 1 week a year that you come into the office. So especially if you have that many people coming in, then is that an opportunity to have other smaller in-person meetings the week leading up to it? Like, So to me, it's not just one day because it is an effort to get everybody in one place.
Sure.
But to make it worth it, it's almost like, what can we get out of anyone that's traveling?
Right.
That's a big thing for me.
Yeah, I know. Jason on our team's coming up.
Oh, okay, great.
And so we have our EO all-day session on Wednesday,
Mm-hmm.
and then we're going to be doing
Your all day?
all day on Thursday.
That's so smart.
And then Friday's the
might do
company
that.
meeting because he's in town.
Right.
Instead of
see?
having him stay overnight or all weekend,
Yeah.
it can just be like boom, boom.
That's a really good idea.
So it's really adding one day. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
the week is going to be shot,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
completely. So my
That's
Wednesday,
still-
Thursday, Friday.
That's still work. You're
Right.
still getting a lot accomplished.
Oh, yeah.
It's
yeah.
okay.
Well, it's all the same people, so it's fine.
Yeah.
It's just, 3 days in a row of all day meetings.
Right.
But I think in this context, it's perfect.
That really makes sense.
Yeah.
It's a really good idea.
Yeah. Plan that in January. Thank you very much.
Wow.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
it was Mike Pavey's idea.
Oh.
But, we were going to do it on Monday, and then
Yeah.
he said Jason's coming in. So
Mm-hmm. Worked
so
out
it worked
perfectly.
out.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the other leg of the cadence. Why don't you talk about that? The departments and how
oh, yeah.
that affects
That's where I
what
was going with
happens.
this. I lost my train of thought. Shocker. So the quarterly meetings that you have for EO, when we have them, we have an all day where we set the company rock or rocks to say, okay, put your focus and energy on these few things. Then every department takes that information and has and it could just be an hour-long meeting instead of a 20-minute meeting. Every department's meeting length is different, but you take your extra hour, your half day, your whole day, and you, using the company rocks that are set for you, you create your departmental and personal rocks. So then that's making sure that everyone actually is all completely aligned behind getting that one major thing complete. How can I contribute to the success of the company rock this quarter? Okay, I can make mine do this so that I contribute,
Right.
So that's what you're talking about. Then after we have our either quarterly or annual meeting, taking the information that is released from that meeting back into your own team and setting those goals for the next 90 days.
This is how it affects us.
Mm-hmm.
This is our marching orders,
Yeah.
kind of from the goals.
So something that happens at the quarterly annual is the opportunity for training on EOS. That's something else that we probably haven't really talked about is the in-person meeting. We don't really, and I guess the quarterly one, the update, and the annual in-person, we don't really talk about training and doing anything that you're learning anything about EOS. That's the kind of responsibility of your department.
The
meeting.
departmental level. Yeah.
So this quarter, ours is going to be on scorecard because we had so much change within our department structure
Right.
that different people now are responsible for different numbers. And, this quarter has just been
Overhaul.
overhaul. Like we've got a few of those main metrics like we were talking about before, OSC numbers. That's just set in stone. They're not going anywhere, and it's a beautiful thing. We can track a lot off of those. But everyone else's, it's like, we've got some work to do picking scorecards. So that's a huge focus, and the training that we'll be doing on our all day in April is okay. Let's just conquer scorecard numbers.
So you're going to be the trainer?
Yes. I
Great.
better go learn the scorecard.
Well, I can't wait to train on mine. That's going to be interesting.
What are you going to do?
We're going to focus on accountability chart stuff.
Oh, nice. That's great.
And making sure that job descriptions match because my department previously didn't really work on that stuff at this point. So that's what we're going to start with.
Yeah, that's the first.
Yeah.
You got to get that done.
Yeah. I mean,
Nail
I'm
down.
hoping to hit some other things, but, just getting in that mindset of attaching, starting with the accountability chart and then attaching the job descriptions to those,
Mm-hmm.
That concept of always thinking about it in terms of accountabilities.
Yeah.
It helps people, I think everybody kind of jives with that idea of, okay, this is what I'm accountable for.
Mm-hmm.
And then the detail of it is a little less important as long as I have the meat of what I need to do, what I need to accomplish.
See, I'm going to be a broken record now with result and outcome.
Yeah.
Is the best way that I can describe accountability chart. Your little function, roles, all of these things are dependent on what does the end result look like?
Yeah.
And so if the accountability chart answers that, and then the job description gives a little detail to it, then that's how you can actually set your scorecard metrics.
Mm-hmm.
Because, well, okay, so what numbers do I have to hit to support what the outcome of that is?
Right.
So you have to get the accountability chart in place before you can even do the scorecard a lot of the time.
100%. Yeah. What are you accountable for?
Yeah.
If you don't know,
Mm-hmm.
then you can't come up with numbers for it.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm going to segue real quick.
Yeah, please.
What's your favorite thing you're hyped about right now that
In
you're
life?
working on? No, not in life. That you're working on.
That is
Or
the
your
only
department.
thing that I do in my life.
Well, I know. That's why I said not in life. I meant work, but life.
We are in the middle of hiring a content coordinator.
AKA podcast content
Someone
person.
to help me.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking a lot about content and strategy, and that's just, I always love that so much. It's my favorite thing. And so Marissa has been doing our social media and a lot of our content for about 1.5 years now. And she's finally getting some help, and she's able to now pick her head up a little bit and think about the strategy. And she's starting to partner with people like our Berks settlement services, Capstone.
I saw some of that stuff.
Yeah.
That's great.
Our preferred lenders, potentially some of our manufacturer suppliers,
cool.
like really cool stuff.
Right.
And this is kind of the moment I've been waiting for the past 15 years since Gary Vee released his first book. And I just am so excited.
You don't have to do it all.
Right.
Which is an amazing accomplishment.
Yeah. I'm very, very excited about that because we have the framework set for so much. We've got the best multimedia specialist ever.
Oh, wow.
Who's can pump out a lot of great content. Once the strategy's in place and all of the systems are put around it, we just have so much that's ready to go.
Right.
It just needs this final piece.
A
and
plan.
Then, yes.
That is great. That's going to feel really good.
And then we have a section on our website called the build process, and it's prepare, build, live. And it's like a placeholder for what the entire customer journey could be.
Right.
And we've got a little bit in there. Chastity and Marissa and a bunch of people did a fantastic job of pulling things together to be able to put on the website there. But it is something that could really be cool in the end, and I'm excited that we'll have some renewed focus on that also.
So right now it's just a skeleton. It's not in its final form.
Right. I have this ridiculous, overwhelming document that's basically lays out every single step should have an FAQ and a blog post and a long form video and a short form video. I mean,
wow.
Yeah. So when we get there, my life is complete.
It will be almost complete until you do the next thing.
Well, that's true. What about you? Do you have something that you're hyped about?
Well, I'm hyped about a lot of things. I think the guys that I work with, the team, they have a lot of innovations, not huge changes, but like ways to do things differently that they're all coming together, and we'll learn more about it over the next couple months. But everybody's really owning kind of not just what their accountability is, but also partnering with the people around them, like at the clubhouse.
Yes.
And where it all kind of points to is ensuring that everybody that is not in the region, the home office, is truly showing that helping hand and partnering with the regions to get the job done well.
Yeah.
That's what I'm excited about. And I'm trying to, anybody that I talk to or work with, trying to make sure that they understand that mindset of presenting, an open hand to the region.
Yeah.
And in all aspects of what they do, we're here to support.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not just what am I doing every day to do it? It's an attitude,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and we have a lot of people with great attitudes.
Yeah.
It's just continuing to show that and partnering and wanting to help them be really good.
How are you creating the thought that it's even an option to do that?
Creating a thought to make it an option.
Meaning it sounds to me that you're just giving everyone the idea that they can. Are you giving them an avenue to support that's different? Like, what's the thought process behind that?
I think it's just, number one, having the clubhouse, having a forum, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then saying that, keep that top of mind. So
when anything comes up?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
When anything comes up, and in your discussions, which inevitably happen with regional employees, like when somebody has something to say about making an improvement, it has a place to go now.
Yeah.
Consistent place to go.
Yeah.
Get hyped about it.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
Put action towards it because there's a place to create those changes now. And it's all about momentum.
Yeah.
And so saying, hey, not only, we'll bring that up at the clubhouse, it's on the agenda for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Communicating that, and keeping regional staff informed of the progress.
Yeah.
And that's it, I mean, because you could have a conversation where there's like a little bit of hope, but when you have like real specific information, which we have an outlet for now,
right,
you can do that.
Yeah, this is like basically what you were saying with IDS earlier. It takes the pressure off because there is a system in place. You just put, this is now in the slot.
Right.
It's going to be addressed, and we'll get to it now.
Yeah, and it's about Clubhouse, but it's really what I'm most excited about is that mindset shift that I see people having. And it helps everybody. It helps.
Yeah.
If you're solving problems at the regional level, your job is going to be clearer at the home office and have less issues. So that's the focus. And I think a lot of the things that we're working on is they're all pointed towards solving those things. And that's what I'm hyped about.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Speaking of hyped, who's your person that you want to shout out?
Shout out. So Steve Smock is my guy this week. I don't know how you describe Steve, but I would say why he was brought to mind. We had a meeting with the technology team a couple weeks ago, specifically on how to address some things on your land to kind of pull their whole process into the system, into the sales system. And Steve always has impressed me with his ability to not have any idea what someone does on a daily basis, but then by the end of a meeting, know.
Right.
The
Not
questions,
just know.
Yeah, like know more than I do.
Yeah, he'll basically, in coming up with a way to write the program for it, tell you how or why they should be doing their job better.
Right.
In the best way possible.
The best way possible.
They could do X, Y, Z.
Right. Yeah.
Yes, Steve, you're right.
Steve's incredible. So his ability he's actually given me a perspective without him knowing this, a different perspective on not just problem solving, but how to partner with people.
He's an excellent coach at partnering with people.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. And so it's the way that he communicates is very effective, and he's very driven to achieve the results, but also he's very emotionally intelligent in the way that he asks his questions and kind of gets to the root of the question quickly. Yeah. Yeah. It's about asking good questions.
He asks the best questions.
And
You're right.
But just seeing what he's built over the years for us on the software side is truly remarkable. And I think he does it not just with his technical skill is my point. There's a lot of technical people out there, but he's successful because of how he approaches solving issues.
He starts with the human being.
Yes. Yeah.
And
first.
then solves it with the technical.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's a coding guy. So go figure. The guy with the high level of emotional intelligence is a coding guy. There's hope for all of us.
We all can do better.
Yes. Yes.
Great shout out.
Yeah.
I love it. He's been in the world of Berks for a really long time. In and out. He came back to us after a little hiatus, which I think is the coolest thing ever.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what about you? What's your challenge for the week?
My challenge for the week is to I'm glad you asked the question about what I'm hyped about.
Yeah.
Is and I briefly mentioned this before, is look for what inspires you. So that's the big challenge. Is sometimes you get stuck on the negative, or you just see like the work that needs to happen or the problems and all of that. But usually there's more that's inspirational than is negative. And it's just taking a minute to shift your focus and kind of change the filter on your brain to be inspired by something instead of, just in problem solving mode. Yeah. Because that just levels everything up immediately if you approach.
And it calms your mind from the racing thoughts and all that.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of.
Well, for a second.
Yeah, for some people, maybe.
Right.
Yeah. No, that was good.
Yeah.
All right.
So we hit on a lot of meeting cadence and threw out a lot of EOS terms, which sometimes we get feedback that not everybody is on the same page with EOS. We're all at different paces here with implementing it. So I say this every time, and I mean it. If you have any questions at all, anything that you want to understand, learn, please just email.
Reach out.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're here for it.
Great. All right. Have a good week.
You too. See ya.
See ya.